Hello and welcome to the 2022 Ventures Annual Showcase. My name is Tom Bizzle and I'm the Chief Student Entrepreneur for UQ Ventures this year, and I will be your MC for this evening. Before we get started, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land upon which we gather here today and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. I'd like to acknowledge the important role that Indigenous and Torres Strait Islander people play in our community, both local and global. A couple of housekeeping items to begin with. In case of emergency, please evacuate via the exits and follow directions from staff. Secondly, for bathrooms, please go back into the foyer and you'll find them on your left. And finally, for any questions, please feel free to approach the UQ Ventures staff members. They'll be the ones wearing the black UQ Ventures t-shirts. The program for tonight is a showcase and a celebration of the leaders and the innovators that UQ Ventures programs have helped foster this year. We'll be hearing from our Ventures Industry Challenge partner, OzHarvest, and see our top 5 finalist teams from the Ventures Industry Challenge pitch their solutions to a real-world problem. Finally, we'll have a live performance by Ventures entrepreneur and UQ alum, Aislinn Sharp. After the program this evening, we'll enjoy networking back in the foyer with live refreshments. But to begin, it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage Nimrod Clayman, the Head of Entrepreneurship at the University of Queensland, to officially welcome you to tonight's event and to say a few words about the highlights we've had this year.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Good evening, everyone. It is wonderful to see you all here tonight to celebrate another fantastic year of entrepreneurship at UQ. My name is Nimrod Clayman, and I'm the Head of Entrepreneurship at the University of Queensland, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to our annual showcase. I just need to apologize. It was a really crowded year, and what I'm going to do in the next 10 minutes is to summarize. Generally, I don't speak so much, but today, I think at least 10 minutes. So just stay with me. So firstly, like Tom, I would like also to start by acknowledging the traditional custodian of the lands on which we meet and to pay my respect to their elders, past and present, and to extend my respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people joining us today. 2022. What a year it has been for UQ Ventures. We have quite literally extended our reach across the globe through partnership with organizations in Vietnam, Japan, India, and Singapore. In Vietnam, we partner with the Vietnam Institute of Science, Technology, and Innovation to co-develop a business model to support innovation in Vietnamese SMEs. The project has achieved impressive outcomes over the year, including a successful workshop in Hanoi in June, recognition in Vietnamese and Australian media, and opportunities for deeper collaboration for UQ in Vietnam. Thanks to a successful grant from the Australia-Japan Foundation, we were also able to take our Discovery program to Japanese high school students. The online program equipped 48 students from 10 schools with entrepreneurial skills and tools, and we are already working towards a bigger program in 2023. Our Discovery program in Japan comes off the success we have had in India with our 4 months QLab program, this year reaching 650 high school students from 72 schools. In India, we have also designed and delivered programs for the Australian Consulate in Mumbai, and this relationship continues with programs in January next year. Not only have we delivered to international audiences, but have opened global experiences for UQ students in our flagship Startup Adventure program. This November, we are planning to take 50 students to travel to Singapore to spend a month immersing themselves in local startups and learning about the startup ecosystem. In January next year, another group of 20 students will head off to San Francisco to experience the vibrant startup ecosystem in the States, including the tech startups of Silicon Valley. Our global reach will only continue to grow in 2023. New startup adventure destination and partnership countries. While our reach has extended across the globe, the achievement of our entrepreneurs right here at UQ and in Queensland have been phenomenal. Our 11 iLab Accelerator teams smashed it out of the park at the pitch night in March. The teams showcased their startup solving diverse problems, including issues around plastic waste, accessibility, health and safety, and science communication. Siobhan Koster, who took out the top prize for her startup Eclipse, is working in partnership with CSIRO to create a new plant-based protein system that will help to combat the chronic undernutrition that exists globally. Hayley Brown, founder of Vacate, was recently featured in Forbes Australia for her tourism startup, making Australia travel more accessible for blind and low vision holiday makers. Valiant Space, one of our 2019 iLab Startup alumni, also recently secured $700,000 in grant funding administered by the Australian Space Agency as part of the Australian government Moon to Mars initiative. Congratulations to Andrew Sinski and Michael Doe and the Valiant Space team on this achievement. These are just some of the many successes our UQ startups are achieving. To recognize the excellence of our entrepreneurial community, in July this year, we launched the UQ Entrepreneurship and Innovation Awards. Congratulations again to Felix Hall, Student Entrepreneur of the Year, UQ alum Alistair Blenking, and the founder of Procure Pro, Startup of the Year, and Sonia Bernard, OAM, our Mentor of the Year. Mentorship is the core component of our programs at UQ Ventures, and we would not be able to deliver our initiative without the many people who give their time and expertise to support our program participants on their entrepreneurial journeys. I would like to take a moment to thank and acknowledge the entrepreneurs and leaders who have supported our students as mentors, speakers, and judges in 2022. Alongside the individuals that gave of their time, our industry partners enable new initiatives and bring real-world problems for our students to innovate on. This year, we have partnered with KWM, Philips, Rio Tinto, Entain, Fast AI, Murawin, GRDC, Unisuper, Angeloop, and of course, OzHarvest, to deliver a suite of activities to UQ students and industry professionals. Tonight, we will see the result of our partnership with OzHarvest for our 2022 Industry Challenge on the pressing issue of food waste. UQ Ventures support and champions all our inspiring entrepreneurs at UQ, but is particularly proud to provide additional support to women entrepreneurs who remain underrepresented in the Australian entrepreneurial ecosystem. Our confidence-building program, Leaders, has gone from strength to strength, and this year over 350 women have participated in Leaders programs. We also deliver a new program for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women to support the entrepreneurial development. With the support from a government investing in women grant, UQ Ventures collaborated with UQ's Indigenous Engagement Division and Indigenous Consultancy, Murawin, to hold the two-day Strong Spirit program here at the St. Lucia campus. To further support women entrepreneurs and leaders, we have just opened nomination for our inaugural Leaders Award. If you know for an exceptional woman doing amazing things in entrepreneurship or leadership, please get your nomination in. We are excited to be announcing our winners of this award at our Women's Entrepreneurship Day celebration in November. Almost there. The impact of Ventures initiative is difficult to sum up by numbers alone, but our 2022 stats tell a story of the growing interest and demands for entrepreneurial education and experiences across the university and in local and global communities. This year, 2022, over 7,500 engagement with UQ students at Ventures activation events and programs. Over 5,300 high school students from 24 schools have participated in our discovery programs. We have delivered programs and workshops in 4 countries. We have collaborated with 10 industry partners, and we have delivered over 200 workshops, design jams, hackathons, and programs. This indisputable success would not be possible without you. Thank you for participating in Ventures programs, volunteering your expertise, and collaborating with us. Congratulations to all our students and new founders who have started their ventures in 2022. Before I finish, I want to acknowledge my amazing team at Ventures, whom I constantly stretch to go beyond their limits, and they never let me down. Without them, we could not have the impact that we have. Thank you from my bottom of my heart, and I will name all my teams. Hopefully I don't forget anyone. So Beth, she's here. Joel, Natalie, Tomas is there. Tyson, Jackie, Jaira, Sally, Joanne, and Chloe. And also part of the Ventures family, the engagement and intelligence teams that they always support us, and the operational team at Global Partnership. Thank you. It now gives me great pleasure to welcome one of our industry partners to the stage. Please join me in welcoming Michaela Windsor from OzHarvest to introduce 2022 Industry Challenge and the problem of food waste in Australia. Thank you.
Thank you, Nimrod. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet tonight, the Yagara and Turrbal people, and to pay my deep respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to extend that same respect to First Nations people with us in the room. So 18 years ago, when Ronnie Khan, OzHarvest founder and CEO, started our organisation, she didn't know about the link between food waste and climate change. What she did know is that in her events business, there was a lot of beautiful food going to waste, and there were also people in her neighbourhood who were going without. She also knew that she needed to do something about it. So fast forward to today, and OzHarvest has delivered more than 220 million meals right across Australia. And every week we have the great privilege of being able to nourish more than 1,500 charities working on the front lines of food insecurity. We've learnt so much over the last 18 years or so. We know that food waste rotting in landfill generates more than 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions, including methane, which is so much more toxic than CO2. We know that 1/3 of all food produced globally is going to waste, and we know that here in Australia we produce enough food to feed everybody, but we're not seeing that food translating into communities that are at risk. So at OzHarvest, our big yellow vans and trucks are working really hard every day to rescue perfectly delicious food. We are so proud of the work that we do at OzHarvest, but we also know that if we are to solve this problem for tomorrow, we need the support of business, of government, and of households everywhere. These are really complex and nuanced challenges that we are facing. We have the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, including 12.3, which sets a target of halving food waste by 2030. It's something that we think about every single day at OzHarvest. And opportunities like the UQ Ventures Industry Challenge really allow us to have deep and meaningful conversations with future leaders, future business leaders, future community leaders about how we can work together to solve these problems. It has been such a joy over the last couple of months for me to get to know all of the students that have been participating in the Industry Challenge, to see their confidence grow, but also to see their ideas really being put through some pretty robust conversation and testing, and to see those ideas really evolving into something that can create that deep and meaningful change. It's been really exciting for me to be a part of, and it dead set gives me hope that the solutions that we need are in reach, are achievable, and that there are lots of people right across the Australian landscape who are interested in solving these problems. So I wanted to say really well done to all of the students who have participated, and in particular, congratulations and well done to the 5 shortlisted teams. I do not envy the judges. The ideas are phenomenal. And I also wanted to thank the UQ Ventures team. So thank you to Nimrod, thank you to Natalie, and thank you to the whole UQ Ventures team for your facilitation and your support. I cannot wait to see these pictures. I am so, so, so excited, and I'm thinking of all of the teams right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michaela. I think we can all agree that this is an incredibly important issue, and I think we are all incredibly looking forward to hearing about how our 5 top teams have gone about addressing it. For our final teams, tonight is the culmination of 10 weeks' worth of work and development in partnership with our innovation and industry partners to develop these solutions. These teams will be competing for multiple prizes worth $11,000 and will be judged by an amazing panel of industry experts who I'll introduce to you now. Firstly, I'd like to welcome Bernardo Tobias, the Queensland State Manager of OzHarvest. Bernardo's time with OzHarvest has cemented both the desire to use his skills for the greatest community impact and his understanding of the level of commitment, agility, and collaboration that are required to achieve positive outcomes when faced with complex and evolving demands. Bernardo is proud and very grateful to be able to drive sustainability outcomes through engagement and behaviour change, whilst making sure that good food isn't wasted or lost. I'd like to secondly welcome Kale Druin, the co-founder of Kale & Daughters. Kale & Daughters is an Aussie company dedicated to innovating and distributing delicious plant-based foods. Kale is widely recognised for having over a decade of experience within Australia's vegan food space, and he is considered a thought leadership in the sector. Kale is passionate about making tasty vegan food easily accessible to mainstream shoppers, and he believes that one day there will be a plant-based alternative for every staple sold in grocery stores. I'd finally like to welcome Ashley Baxter, founder and CEO of the Monty Compost Company. As a founder and CEO of a green tech startup, Ashley has always been passionate about sustainability and action on climate change. Graduating from the University of Queensland in 2018 with dual degrees in business management and IT, alongside international experience both working in high-tech startups and volunteering with environmental groups and movements, it was then that Ashley saw the massive global issues surrounding food waste, the impact potential of recycling, and the role that innovative technologies could play in creating solutions. She went on to found Monty Compost Company, a startup that develops hardware and digital technologies to enable efficient and accessible composting for everyone, everywhere, to tackle the significant challenge of maintaining organic and food wastage. Welcome, judges, and we very much appreciate having you here tonight. Now, I will let the audience know that the judges have been briefed that we have only time for 2 questions per team, and we'll be cycling through which judge asks these questions to the teams. The judges will be determining which team places first, second, and third tonight. However, the audience will also get a say. We'll have a People's Choice winner, so at the end of all the pitching, voting will open, and I'll invite you all to use the QR codes that you'll find on your pamphlets to enter your submission for your favourite pitch. So the time has come. It's my great pleasure to introduce Alexandra and Serene from Kemu for our first pitch of this evening.
What does a 5-star restaurant, bioplastic cutlery, a heart stent, and your favourite skin cream have in common? They're all made of milk. Well, not exactly, but give us 3 short minutes and that could be the case. Hi, we're Alex and Serene, and we're here to talk dairy. On its journey from the farm to the checkout, 630,000 tonnes of dairy is lost each year in Australia in the form of quality control issues and other system failures. Recovering this food waste is our goal. We can turn this non-viable dairy into industrial quality lactic acid priced at $2,500 a tonne. But what's lactic acid? Why do we love it so much? Great question, audience. Lactic acid is a vital chemical ingredient in the production of bioplastics, biomedical devices, food preservatives, skincare, cosmetics, textile dyes, the list goes on. And the Australian market for lactic acid is set to hit heights of $5.8 billion by 2030. Our solution? Meet this demand by collecting non-viable dairy, fermenting it, and extracting lactic acid. No more crying over spoiled milk. Is my mic still on? As software and chemical engineering students, we're driven and in the right spaces to bring our venture to life.
Back to the technical stuff. Milk. So, you've got mostly water with some fat, proteins, and lactose. Lactose is a sugar compound being fermented to form lactic acid. To optimize our process, first we remove the majority of water from the milk, and then we ferment this dewatered product. We then perform pH neutralization and extraction. Now, fermentation is already the primary production method of lactic acid. We're simply applying it to a new industry, commercial dairy, and a new substrate, milk. So, interpolating from previous yields and past studies, the yield from our process sits at approximately 60 grams of lactic acid per litre of waste produce. Here's the exciting part. We can increase that by up to 98 grams per litre by adding other waste produce. That's 160 grams of lactic acid per litre of pure food waste, per litre of stuff that's being thrown out. Holy cow. So, what next? Well, Mungali Creek Dairy, the UQ Protein Expression Facility, the QUT Biorefining Research Facility, and other independent researchers are already excited to join resources and forces with us and our idea. We also have a mentor, Nat Wing of UQ, a chemical engineer who has jumped very keenly on board. We have 630,000 tonnes of dairy wasted in Australia each year. We have an up-and-coming market of $5.8 billion of lactic acid in 2030. We have us, our novel process to turn lactic acid into food waste, and we have you, our judges, potential investors. We're already wasting this dairy. Let's not waste this opportunity as well. Thank you. Oh, me, just.
Thank you so much, Alexandra and Serene. Well done. I'll now invite Bernardo to ask the first question.
That's brilliant. Oh, I don't know if the microphone is working, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. There it is. That's brilliant, guys. That is absolutely brilliant. Dairy industry is, it's a large problem, isn't it?
A little bit.
When we think about 1 in 6 litres of milk get wasted in Australia.
That's a crazy number.
It's a crazy number. It's a real crazy number. I'm just curious, in that process, you said 160 grams of
lactic acid
out of a litre of milk. So what do you do with the remaining of it? So is there another byproduct that is created in the process, or is there any wastage in that process?
Yeah, so the primary byproducts are water and gypsum. Water, obviously quite valuable. We live in Australia, a drought-prone country. We can send that for reprocessing and recovery. We also have gypsum, which, depending on market conditions, so it is a bit market dependent, it is used as a building material. So we can then also sell that as another byproduct to continue this sort of circular economy that we're building.
Kale, would you like to ask the next question?
Yeah. The only question I have is around energy use in the process of extracting the lactic acid.
Is that in terms of electricity? Yeah. A lot of it is mainly maintaining the ideal conditions for our fermentation. So, is that up there? Cool. So depending on what bacteria strain is most ideal for our yield from lactose, from milk, that sort of thing, it will very much depend on that. That's probably going to be our highest energy consumption. We don't have precise numbers on that, but given that we're working with pretty well-established green processing plants, like the Mackay pilot plant, I believe.
Yeah, so we're working with UQ Protein Expression and also QUT's biorefinery, both of which are solar-powered. So that solar power does contribute a lot to the energy usage of those buildings and those labs inside of them.
Well, that's all the time we have for questions. Thank you so much, Alexandra and Serene.
Thank you.
For our second For our second pitch tonight, I'd like to welcome Luca and Marco from Green Mean Machine.
Good evening, everyone. Have you ever considered what a restaurant's extra meals go to? Earlier this year, our team was visiting a local pie shop at closing time. We purchased our pastries, sat down to eat, and watched in dismay as dozens of delicious pies were just thrown into the trash before our eyes. Sadly, this is a common scene in Australia, with a third of restaurant food waste happening.
Yeah. And this is mostly due to the lack of incentives to reduce the food waste, as it usually just isn't profitable for the business. So, with our bellies full of pies, we asked ourselves the question, how do we incentivize restaurants to make a decision that may not benefit their bottom line? Well, our answer is simple. We make it a decision that will. Now, before I continue, let me ask the audience here a question. So raise your hand if you have a fridge at home, go grocery shopping, or like dining out. You're probably wondering what these things have in common. Well, chances are you've come across one of these star ratings before.
We'd especially like to draw your attention to the Food Safety Star Rating, a UQ Council initiative that has already been successfully implemented in Brisbane. We propose extending this initiative and bringing you the Food Waste Star Rating system.
Now, how will the system work? Businesses will portray their star rating on their platforms, such as physical stores, as well as online delivery apps. And these star ratings will be generated through annual assessments, similar to the food safety inspections already conducted in the industry. And these audits will be based on a certain set of rating criteria, which of course involve the ratio of food thrown out at the restaurant, but also other factors such as, is the restaurant composting, or are they partnered up with local food donors? Our proposal is unique, as it implements a trusted idea in a completely new way. Restaurants with food waste management practices will be rewarded with these verified ratings, thus giving them a competitive edge, as well as enabling us as consumers to make a decision that will help us. And the best part is other food waste initiatives such as OzHarvest or Compost Connect will benefit, as restaurants will be lining up to partner up with these. Thus, we will be setting a foundation for the food waste management industry as a whole.
With the Brisbane Olympics coming up, there's going to be huge pressure on Brisbane to provide a good look for the world when it comes to visit in 2032. That means that the time is now for Council to be implementing new legislation that supports sustainable initiatives like ours. Unlike our competitors, we don't require initial business success to see a good effect. All we need is access to Council, and we can begin workshopping this effective policy solution right now today. Endorse us when we approach Council, and we promise you that no more pies will be wasted. Thank you very much, and good pie.
Thank you so much, Luca and Marco. I'd like to invite Saif onto the stage, third team member. And Ashley, would you like to ask the next question?
I definitely understand the appeal for markets and places that are interested in attracting clientele that care about these sorts of things. But could you just explain to me from your research, what you think the adoption curve would look like for 100% of eating establishments? Are you going to get 5% doing it immediately? How much are you going to have to do to get everyone on board? Just curious.
Yeah. Well, of course, the restaurants that are focused on sustainability, like vegan restaurants or those sort of restaurants will probably adapt the earliest. And then
do you know what percentage of the market that is?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what proportion of eating establishments would fit into that?
We don't have an exact percentage.
Okay.
But yeah, our goal would be that sort of like food safety, obviously some restaurants don't want to do all these measurements to prevent people from getting food sickness or whatever, but our goal would be that it is part of this area. So they're implementing measurements to increase food safety as well as reduce food waste. And so it just sort of become one of those day-to-day things, where they're not really thinking about it. Oh, now I have to reduce food waste, but it's sort of just a habit, for most restaurants.
Kale, would you like to take the next one?
Yes. How would you see this being implemented? Would Brisbane City Council be managing this? How would it be enforced?
Yeah, so Brisbane City Council would be implementing this in tandem with existing initiatives. That we've already got like a lot of auditors in the city that are specialized for restaurants, so it wouldn't be too much further training to implement this initiative into action.
Have you thought about the cost of that? How much it would cost the Brisbane City Council to implement that kind of thing? Part of your analysis,
Yeah.
I mean.
Definitely a lot less than $36 billion a year in food waste. So,
Exactly, yeah.
probably not that much. In terms of training and everything, I'd say very minimal amount in terms of all the other groups as well, for startup and whatnot. So.
Thank you very much, Green Mean Machine. Cheers.
Thank you.
I'd now like to invite Caitlin and Kelly from 501st onto the stage.
Hi everyone, we are the 501st, a company dedicated to churning out vegan, seasonal sorbet using only overripe produce. Now, you may be wondering, how can sorbet help reduce food wastage? Well, consumers are one of the leading food wastage contributors, and in Australia, household wastage accounts to about 2.5 million tonnes of wastage, with fruit and veg being in the top 5 most wasted foods. Many farmers are often forced to completely throw out perfectly good produce because of the supermarket regulations that cater towards consumer preferences for aesthetic fruit and vegetables. The simple answer would be to implement policy. However, this requires a culture shift, which is extremely difficult to implement because seeing is believing. For example, how can you be expected to know that that spotty, dirty banana has more nutrients than the unblemished counterpart? We propose to literally peel back the skin and turn these old fruits into Instagram-worthy delights.
Our solution combines 3 strategies: food recycling, a reward system, and self-service. So successful businesses with similar ideas include For Purpose Co., which developed a self-service juice bar using overripe oranges and Boost juice. But where the 501st differs is that we make sorbet, and sorbet has a healthier profile than most other juice and smoothies. Further, our sorbet is vegan, seasonally dependent, and healthier than just normal. Our sorbet is self-service sorbet, so that means when people press a button, they can get sorbet immediately after they've paid anti-wastage points. And finally, it is an anti-wastage point reward system that we are running with Woolies. Every $10 spent on clearance food items will equal 10% of sorbet.
Yeah, our main logistics are going to be cost, supply and demand, and advertising. And initially, because we will be running it up, we'll be delivering it daily to kiosks, and there'll be 0 staff, ingredient, and blender costs. Eventually, as we expand, we will be employing more permanent staff. Transport costs include refrigerated trucks used to transport the sorbet and the products from farmers. And equipment costs will be relatively low, and we'll be opting to use environmentally friendly machines, cups, and spoons to be in line with our mission statement. Finally, rent is about $3K a month.
So due to stock unpredictability, we plan to most of our stock from the Lockyer Valley's waste and only a little bit from Woolies. Advertising will be a bit expensive, however, as we partner with Woolies, we plan to advertise under their brand and modify their pre-existing app to have an anti-wastage points interface screen so we don't have to make our app, which reduces our budget. Our sorbet is priced cheaper than the usual market because our goal is to reduce food wastage, not necessarily make profits. All profits will go to Woolies for borrowing their brand name and to OzHarvest for charity. This is our menu. Please enjoy the samples. Now, we are the 501st because our process is
Completely
5
vegan.
steps. We source overripe produce. We make that sorbet. The sorbet is delivered to kiosks daily. You can purchase it. And if you buy clearance food items from Woolies, you can get a discount. Our ultimate goal is 0 fruit and vegetable waste, and it is your one contribution to purchase or invest $5,000 into us that really makes a difference. So what will your contribution be? Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin and Kelly. Bernardo, I will offer you the first question.
What a brilliant presentation, guys. Well done. Well done. I think you ticked a lot of boxes there. One thing that I would caution, even though there's so much wastage, even from farmlands and all of that unripe and overripe produce, and there's so much abundance, what is unclear to me is that value proposition to the farmers on how can we actually do that procurement, that food procurement, and getting that food to those machines. And we've seen that with For Purpose Co. with the oranges, for example. It's cheaper for the farm and it's easier for the farmer usually to let it die in the paddocks. So how would you propose to incentivize the farmers or the producers or any of those businesses that have that surplus to get that food into those machines in the first place? And how do you think we're going to do that logistics?
Yeah, so as you can see, a lot of our produce is obtained straight from the farms themselves, and they have many markets as well, you know, the West End markets and all that. So by partnering with us, they also get exposure when they directly, you know, sell their produce. So if people are enjoying the produce that we supply, which isn't even their best produce, right? If we can, you know, market that and be like, we obtained this from this supplier, you can buy them directly from here. That also is an advertising, you know, advantage to them, and I think it'll be good publicity for everyone all around.
Great. Sorry, just one more thing on that one. The costings of the machines, I saw that you put a costings of a froyo machine sort of idea, which is just a soft serve. But on the photos, you had this big self-service machine. Have you compared costs, for example, let's say with the For Purpose Co. Machine with the orange juice machine? Because I know that the cost of that is much, much higher than what you've had outlined.
Yeah.
So basically with For Purpose Co., they developed a specific, very niche kind of kiosk. So they actually designed it so it would make the orange juice on site. But our thing isn't we're making the sorbet on site, we're just filling up the machine. And that's why we had the idea of like a slushy machine that you get at 7-Eleven or things like that, froyo machines, which you fill up yourself and it just churns it and keeps it cold. So that was our proposition rather than it making it on site.
Ashley, it looks like your mouth is full, but I'll offer you a question.
No, I can ask a question. Just want to say, great idea, like, love it. Great energy, really clear, I guess, articulation of everything. I like the points of differentiation. I guess kind of what I would say, or what my question would be, is kind of how you would see rolling out something like this in terms of practical next steps. Like, it sounds like it's very, very contingent on a good deal with Woolies or some large company like that. What would be your strategy to securing that, and then kind of what from there?
Okay, so the main reason we chose Woolies is because you guys might know they have this thing called the Odd Bunch, where they're already trying to tackle the idea of people don't like non-aesthetic fruit. And so we were like, why don't we partner with them because they have the Odd Bunch? So we have two main reasons we think that Woolies would like to partner with us. So one is that, firstly, if people like our sorbet and we are inside their store, chances are people are going to come in if they want our sorbet, and you know, when you have high frequency of customers inside a store, they're more likely going to purchase items, for example, in the metro. And the other main reason was that in order for people to get a discount using our anti-wastage point system, they actually need to purchase those clearance items and Odd Bunch from Woolies in the first place. So if they wanted our sorbet for some reason because they thought it was really delicious, which it is, but
It's really delicious.
then they would like to come in, maybe get a discount, but to get that discount, you need to go buy those Odd Bunch and things like that.
Yeah, it's not limited to Woolies. If they reject us, we can go to Coles, IGA, Aldi. There's so many other options. So yeah, Woolies is just our first choice.
And ultimately, because we are sourcing not just from Woolies, we are trying to get the farmers' input as well. We were thinking that if big companies, commercial companies don't want us, we can do a farmers' market with our sorbet.
Thank you, Caitlin and Kelly. Up next, we have Aryan and Young from Yummy. Welcome to the stage.
Hey everyone, we are Yumi. I want you to meet Jane. Jane is food insecure and often resorts to looking in bins for food. Unfortunately, Jane isn't alone. 4 weeks ago, we met countless people in Brisbane's CBD like Jane. In fact, 1 in 6 Australians have faced food insecurity in the last 12 months. And we thought to ourselves, how could this be when we know that 7.6 million tons of food is wasted in Australia annually? What's more is that 2/3 of this food never reaches the customer. Meet Yumi. We're making healthy, affordable, vegan, gluten-free meals entirely from food waste. Our model is Yumi in my tummy, Yumi in your tummy. What this means is when a customer purchases a meal from us, we donate an equivalent meal to someone in need. To validate this, we conducted over 80 surveys and found that over 75% prioritize affordability and taste over appearance, and over 88% of people are open to buying pre-made, microwavable meals. So, we launched our MVP. We bought $50 worth of Funky Foods, which is a company that sells perfectly good food that would otherwise go to waste, and through blood, sweat, and tears, we created 24 meals. And we achieved traction. We sold out of our 12 meals, and as you can see, our customers thought our meals were very, very Yumi. At the same time, we donated 12 meals to Third Space, which is an organization that provides meals for people in need. We plan on continuing this incentive with a projected 30 million meals donated by 2027, and at the same time, saving over 40,000 tons in emissions and rescuing over 16,000 tons of waste food. Our financial projections are also looking great. We have healthy unit economics, net profit margins of 60%, and a 2027 projected revenue of $138 million. Our competitive outlook is saturated but quite linear. Where we sit is we're affordable, we taste great, and we're healthy. Here's our team. Marcus has a background in computer science. Arian over there has a background in design, and I have a background in finance and economics. We are diverse, and we are the team to take Yumi all across Australia. Here's our product roadmap. We've achieved our stage 1. We sold out of our MVP. In stages 2 and 3, we plan on scaling production and distribution, sourcing direct from farmers, and introducing a recipe optimization algorithm that will allow us to use the waste food efficiently. We are asking for a $5,000 investment, which we'll use to scale production and purchase waste food. Our vision is a world free of food waste and food insecurity. Order now and help the 4 million Australians, like Jane, eat Yumi food. Thank you.
Thank you, Young and Aryan. I'd now like to invite Kale to give the first question.
Thanks for the presentation, guys. Ready meals is a tough space. So when it comes to scaling, what are your plans? In more detail.
Right, so our scaling, I don't know which slide to show you actually. So our scaling is here. We've got our MVP, then we have our scale stage. So here we plan on increasing distribution to things like vending machines around unis and also small grocery stores. And then we have our in-store stages. In the scale stage, which is what we're moving into now, we are sourcing direct from farms. So we actually spoke to Michaela from OzHarvest, and we found essentially the prices that Funky Foods pays farmers. So right now we're going through a middleman, Funky Foods. We plan on going straight to the farmers, and that will reduce our costs by about 30%. And then in stores, we're going to try and get in stores. Our prices are $5 essentially for 2 meals, one for you, one for someone else. So we feel like we'll naturally gain market share because of that price advantage.
Where are you actually making the meals, though?
So for the MVP, we made it at a house. We properly sanitized everything. But we plan to make it in dark kitchens. And also, in terms of dark kitchens, hire restaurants which want to earn extra money on the side. And the reason we say that is because they'll also have food safety supervisors. That's one we need to really focus on as well. But dark kitchens and restaurants.
Actually, in the scale stage, we've actually talked to UQ's campus kitchen, and they donate free meals. And they make their meals in a commercial kitchen that is located on campus, and they were quite open to allowing us to use those facilities when they don't use it at no cost. Yeah.
And what scale do you think you can get to via that method?
Right. We do have the projections. Essentially, we think we could get into every single grocery store. The price of $5 is quite hard to beat, especially with the added benefit that's healthy and that, it's a social enterprise. Thank you. I made it this afternoon. Thank you so much. Yeah. So yeah, that extra social benefit is what we think will drive people to make that purchase.
Thanks, guys.
Would you like another one, Kale, or Bernardo? I'll give you the last. Yeah, Bernardo, I'll offer you the last question.
Tricky undertaking, good presentation.
Thank you.
And I love the user uptake on your show.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a nice touch. I like that. I'm sure you spoke to Cameron from Funky Foods, and you've seen the challenges of food procurement from farms. You've heard firsthand from him, I'm sure. And not only the procurement, you've got to get that food to you.
Yeah.
And you have to store it. So you need that warehousing, you need that sorting, you need to account for wastage for yourselves as well, because you get a box of food, chances are some of that box is going to go to waste as well.
Yeah.
How did you guys factor risk in here, including, and that includes your spoilage, that includes your distribution risks, that includes seasonality. So how are you going to account for those risks?
Yeah.
And have you accounted for those risks on your costing projections?
Yes, we have. Essentially, the way we've done our costing is that we took those prices that Michaela showed us, and essentially waste food is priced at 11% of retail prices. So we added a 50% margin on top of that to account for spoilage. Also, this is where Marcus becomes the superhero of Yumi. He has a background in computer science, and he's begun to build the recipe optimization algorithm. With waste food, it's even more exposed to seasonality. So there'll be seasons where you have way too much of something, and so that optimization will allow us to take whatever we have and then figure out how to make recipes that will make the best use of that food.
Just another. Can I have? Yeah.
Very quickly, maybe.
What's the shelf life on these products?
The shelf life, honestly, not long at all. The reason I say that is because we don't use any I'm going to be very honest. We don't use any preservatives and stuff, but we do, especially at low volume, we don't think that shelf life would be a problem. With expansion, maybe we would begin to consider how we would conduct preservation. And also, if we ever have excess, it could go to the same place.
One
we could just
benefit is
donate
we're not using meat. Meat usually has a tendency to go bad
Yeah,
sooner than
or dairy.
Yeah, it's going to be longer than meat and dairy products, but as we expand, we still have to consider that in terms of shelf life in vending machines or in grocery stores.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Young
you.
and Aryan.
Thanks so much.
Now we have Kirsten and Francesca from Drop and Earn. Welcome to the stage.
Good luck.
Have you ever thought about food waste recycling systems in Australia? Most people don't. However, we did. As we are a group of international students, we all noticed a big difference in the food waste recycling systems between our home countries and here in Australia. As you can see, in Austria, Italy, and France, food waste is collected in separate bins and put away by the local council on a weekly basis. In Taiwan, this is even done on a daily basis. But what about Australia, and why is there no food waste recycling system in place in this country? To better understand the problem, we conducted a survey, and that gave us some answers. First, there is a lack of food waste recycling infrastructure here in this country. And second, little to no motivation among Australian households to actually recycle food waste. This is why with our solution, we aim to recycle, reform, and repurpose. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we created Drop and Earn. With Drop and Earn, we would like to make food waste recycling easy, incentivizing, and fun. And this is how it works. The process starts when a person drops off their collected food waste at one of our drop-off stations located near supermarkets. In exchange for their collected food waste, they will get a reward, which can be used as a discount for an event or even a gift card for a grocery store. Of the food waste that we collect, we estimate that about 80% will be inedible food waste. This will be processed into compost and later on sold to farmers and even private companies. Of the remaining 20%, which will be edible food waste, we would like to make juice, which will be sold in vending machines placed next to our drop-off stations.
By selling compost and juices, we're planning to achieve $2 million of revenue by 2024. In the same year, we're also planning to expand in other states of Australia. Our goal is to reach $6 million of revenue by 2026. The main goal of our business is to change consumer behavior. Initially, we're planning to reach 741,000 people in Brisbane, dropping off 1.25 kilos of food waste per week. Today in Australia, every person produces 6 kilos of food waste, wasting $2,500 per year. Our goal by 2030 is to reduce this by 50%. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're here to ask you for three things. An initial investment of $3 million to expand our compost facility in Australia, partners for governmental and private organizations, and also we're asking you to participate in our business, change your consumer behavior for a better future for the present and future generation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kirsten and Francesca. I'd like to invite Charles, Rose, and Jose to join us on the stage for Q&A. And we'll begin with Ashley, when you're ready.
Awesome. Love it being about composting. That's my jam. My question is more on the practical implementation side, knowing how challenging composting is. You're kind of doing the collection and the processing yourself. A lot of the time, like a company will do one or the other. So I guess how do you kind of practically see going about setting up both those pieces of infrastructure? If that kind of makes sense.
So we will have a collection point, and every day.
In terms of like the contamination of it, you know, when someone's coming by and getting it, dropping off it at the processing spot.
We will bring it at the main facility, and there we will also have people like kind of separating if there is plastic, if there is bones, if there is like products that are not organic.
And so is there like a weighing process in place? Like what's the kind of technology behind translating each person's contribution to?
It would be like you collect it and like a person will like put it in a kind of like platform and then like separate it. It's like with the like trash usually, it's like people separate it, and then when you see that there is like bits and pieces that are not organically, you just collect them, separate it, and then like put it in a big industrial compost machine.
Cool. Sounds really interesting. Was there?
Yes, do we have one from Kale? No. Bernardo.
Interesting. It's an interesting idea, and I think it's we are hoping so that there's a huge education piece that needs to go along with it. Mm-hmm. So I think in an ideal world, that would be perfect when everybody would know exactly what to do and how to do it to avoid contamination and make sure that the food that is being put there it's for good purpose. So I see from the value you said byproduct would be a juice and biofuel and fertilizer, right?
Yeah.
How would you guarantee? There's a lot of red tape around fertilizers and how you actually produce it and all of that piece. So juice, to start off, when you have all of that food mixed together, how would you guarantee that there's no contamination in that space so that that product is not contaminated? And then on the fertilizer front, how can you guarantee that you're using the right ingredients for that specific fertilizer so that you can actually sell and create value out of that?
So I think on the contamination bit, we plan to have like an educational campaign. When people first sign up, we will have like a manual, like an introductory manual for them to read through and just outline our process. So, but we won't only rely on that. I think in the beginning we would also offer some educational workshops, and of course we will have some manual labor sort of control to make sure that nothing is contaminated. Yeah, and on the fertilizer bit, I don't know, do you guys want to go ahead or should I?
And also, like, our business was like to change consumer behavior. So it's like, it takes, if you have motivation, it's like people are willing to do this small step and change it. It's like even our drop-off is going to be located near supermarkets because already, like, if you want to do the red cycle, you need to go to the supermarket, and that's the only way that you can recycle it. Otherwise, you cannot put it, and if you're lazy, you put it in the normal, like, recycling bin, but that's not the right way. So it's like still like our business, I feel like at the beginning, we will touch mostly like people that really care about the problem and they want to make a difference. And some people, yeah, they make it at home. Other people is like, well, we can get something out of it. We can use it to do something and get a reward, but it's like, yeah, you do good.
That's really, really interesting. And how would you compete with FOGO? So the food organics, garden organics, collections that the government is sort of rolling out across the fourth bin that is rolling out. How would you compete with that? Because
it's interesting because at work I have one girl, she lives in Ipswich, and I was like, oh, like they do this, but they charge like $500 every like quarter. So I don't want to do it. And in our case, like, we don't charge people. It's like, you can do it. You just, like, everyone goes to the supermarket, so you can just go to the supermarket, bring your recycle bag, and just, like, drop it, and then you get a reward. It's like the bottles. People here love to drink. And then you decide, well, do I want to bring back a bottle that I spent $8 and get 10 cents back? Or should I just chug it out? And it's up to a person to say, well, I can recycle 200 bottles, get $20, use it for toilet paper, or like use it in other ways, or like for another 6 packs. So it depends on, like, it's up to a customer how they want to be into it.
And I think on that point, because we did some research on that, and these programs are only just started, they've just started to be rolled out. So, I think if we started our business tomorrow, then why wouldn't be, a viable competitor? So,
but even in Brisbane, they don't do it. Like, Brisbane is not doing anything. And it's so, like, I looked at Melbourne and OzHarvest, and they're doing such a good things. And here instead is nothing.
Yeah, that's why incentivizing is a very important element in our business plan, because lack of incentivizing, people are not going to do that. So that we are here to encourage people to join this. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, that brings us to the end of our pitches for this evening. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the People's Choice vote is now open. You can look at the QR codes on the handout you've been given, and there's the QR code up above me here. Please take the time to submit your votes. The judges will now follow Nat to the stage right to have a chance to discuss your scoring and to deliberate. And while this occurs, I'd like to introduce UQ alum, singer-songwriter and psychologist, Aislinn Sharp, to the stage.
Thank you, Tom.
Aislinn, thank you so much for being here. Now, I believe you have your own social enterprise that you've been developing this year. In fact, you delivered the winning pitch at the Curiosity program earlier this year, and were an honourable mention from the judges at the UQ Validate program this year. Can you tell us a little bit about your venture and your journey into entrepreneurship this year?
Yeah, so to help destigmatise conversations about mental health, my solution is presenting my Music and the Mind show. So as you'll see a little bit this evening, so I'm a singer-songwriter and I perform my original pop music, and between songs I talk with an interviewer and chat about some of the stories behind my songs and how I use them to help promote mental health awareness.
That's awesome. Tell us about how your experience going through the Validate and the Curiosity programs with this project.
So I did Curiosity earlier this year, and I was actually really nervous because I'd never done anything like it before, but I really wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone to build business skills. So I have music skills, I have psych skills, but this was quite an uncomfortable space for me. And also being in the program, I already had the music concert, but I felt like it really just expanded my options of thinking, why do one concert? So I did my first Music and the Mind show in April this year. And then while doing Curiosity earlier this year, I thought, why stop there? Why not tour it to regional and remote communities where people are more isolated and have less mental health support? And, you know, I could help potentially more people.
That's incredibly rapid progress since then. Thank you. Do you have any pieces of advice that you would give to someone who's considering starting out on an entrepreneurial journey?
Absolutely. So I think with my example with Curiosity, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and even I did Validate this semester, and just showing up to the first class of 70 people, like I wasn't quite used to being in person because I did Curiosity online. And so just showing up, I think, is a big part, and then just keep showing up, trying new things, meeting people, and giving things a go.
That's awesome. Now tell us about the exciting performance you have coming up in Melbourne shortly.
Yeah, so this evening I'm going to be performing a song for you called Matter, and I released it 2 years ago to help promote Are You OK Day. And back in 2020 I reached out to Melbourne group Choir of Hard Knocks to see if they would like to sing it to help promote mental health awareness. As you might know, Melbourne then went into lockdowns and it just went on, and they weren't able to go back to in-person rehearsals until April this year, that they could safely take off their masks. And so we only just released the video last month for Are You OK Day, and I've never met any of the choir members, so we did it all through remote, putting together video footage that's edited, so you can find that online. But I'm meeting them all in person for the first time next month after having corresponded for over 2 years. So I'm really excited.
That's incredible. Well, I think we're all looking forward to hearing it. I'll hand it over to you. Thank you, Aislinn.
Thank you. So like I just mentioned, my first song is my Are You OK inspired song, Matter, and I'm hoping that the story will touch you. It's based on my own experiences losing someone in my life and wanting to put a positive light on the importance of reaching out to one another and connecting. This is Matter. Curled on the sofa, eyes shut, hiding from the world today. Think I failed miserably. Called to my father. What now? Been going at the speed of light, but feeling trapped inside my mind. Confidence spirals down from my mistakes, but you call, notice I'm away. I'm not sure. When you ask, are you okay? If I climbed the tallest tree, sat across the open sea, would it be good enough to make me feel better? If I rose and lost a piece, kill the world of poverty, would I be good enough to you? It don't matter.
from my mistakes. Would you call, notice I'm awake and reassured when you ask, are you okay? If I climb the tallest tree set across the open sea, would it be good enough to make me feel better? If I rose a masterpiece, kill the word of poverty, would I be good enough to you? It don't matter, 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 matter. You make me feel I matter. If I climb the tallest tree set across the open sea, would it be good enough to make me feel better? If I wrote a masterpiece, kill the word poverty, would it be good enough to you? It don't matter, matter, make me feel I matter. You make me feel I matter.
Thank you. There's one more song, Tom.
Telecom racing sign, hey, wake up. Lift your head out of bed, start something new. Feel good today, feel great today. Whoa, can't wait on your bike, red your like, wanna chase that. Right ahead at the says unsupervised. You'll bump today, out to play, then bump into the road. I see how you're hurt but resilient in life. Fall down 7 times, but get up 8. When you hit the ground, tell yourself you're the best songwriter. Oh, 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 laugh it out. Oh, oh, oh. When you've fallen down, tell yourself you can always rebound. Can't forget your red, red bike. How to ride your red, red bike. Feeling done of a run, can you shake out off your back and attack, start something new. See the world today, run away to feel great today. Whoa, I see how you're hurt but resilient in life. Fall down 7 times, but get up 8. When you hit the ground, tell yourself you're the best songwriter. Oh, 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 laugh it out. Oh, oh, oh. When you've fallen down, tell yourself you can always rebound. Can't forget your red, red bike. How to ride your red, red bike.
Come on, I want to see your hands in the air. We're here to celebrate tonight. You've earned it, especially all my pitchers, speakers over here. You've done great. Come on, sing along. Oh, 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 oh. Come on, let's bring it home.
When you hit the ground, tell yourself you're the best songwriter. Oh, 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 laugh it out. Oh, oh, oh. When you've fallen down, tell yourself you can always rebound. Can't forget your red, red bike.
thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining in. And congratulations, everyone. You've done an amazing job.
Thank you so much, Aislinn. I think I speak on behalf of everyone when I say that that was absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Where can people find more of your work? I know you've got a new song coming out soon.
So Matter and Red Red Bike are already out, so you can find them on streaming servers, so Spotify, Apple Music. You'll see, my name was up on the screen earlier, but if you can spell it, put it into a browser. You can also find me on all the socials, so Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and even TikTok. And my new song. I have a new song coming out next month, the 30th of November, called She Lights Up. So you'll be able to pre-save it soon and be the first to hear it.
Well, thank you so much. We wish you the best of everything, Aislinn. Cheers.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Tom.
Now, I will note that voting has now closed for the People's Choice Awards. But before we announce the Industry Challenge prize winners, I do have one important announcement, and that's the Lucky Door prize. You will have received a ticket when you collected your name tag, so dig around for those now. Now, our lucky winner will be taking home an OzHarvest Fight Food Waste prize, including a repurposed life memoir by OzHarvest founder Ronnie Khan, Use It Up tape, lunch bag, and apron. Now, oh yes, you must be in the room. We'll have to redraw until we find them.
Is everybody ready?
Yes. Now, if everyone has their tag, the winner is number Purple D57. Do we have a winner? Can you put your hands up? Yeah, we do. Please come on stage to collect your prize. I'd now like to invite onto the stage all of the pitching team members and the judges to deliver the winner of tonight's event. Makes their way on stage. Bernardo will share some comments on behalf of the judging panel, and I'd like to welcome Bernardo onto the stage formally.
Well,
yes, yeah.
That was difficult. That was a difficult discussion out the back there, I tell you what. What great products and great ideas and great discussions. This is brilliant. We need more and more of that. When we think about food waste, when we think about all of this surplus food that is going out and just ending up in landfill and having the huge social, environmental, and economic impact that we're seeing. And when we see us getting hit by these crazy crises that we've been hit in the last few years that only aggravate the problem, they sort of, all of that sort of bring us down a little bit and get us a little bit overwhelmed and daunted and, how can we actually fix these problems? And then we come into a room like this, not only to see all of these people in here and listening and getting engaged in the discussion, but to listen to the ideas that are being put forward on the table and the level of innovation and the level of care, really, that is being brought to the table. Well done, guys. You first and foremost, you guys should be very proud of yourselves. A lot of work from all the groups have been put in this. You guys are very, very deserving to be very, very proud of what you have achieved. So well done.
Thank you, Bernardo. I think all the teams are incredibly deserving tonight, and I'd like to invite Nimrod Clayman back to the stage to assist with the award provision.
Cool. So, to the business. In third place, and this fight was very, very close. Very, very close. But in third place, for its idea and potential, we have Yumi. Well done, Yumi. Well done, guys. Well, second place. We were quite impressed with these guys. What they brought to the table is just really, really brilliant, especially with science. It's really, really amazing. Kimu, well done. Congratulations, guys. Well, who topped the board? That's look, these guys have really impressed the three of us, and it is a viable product. It is an innovative idea, and it is something that can be rolled out. One of the judges actually said it's a business ready. It's ready to be rolled out. The product is brilliant. It's viable. It's sellable. It's ready. So they've got a unanimous decision there. 501st. Well done, guys. Well done, guys. Well done. You deserve it. And now for the People's Choice Award. So who got the People's Choice? It wasn't any of the three top ones, but it was just as deserving. And I think like all of you guys were just as deserving. It was very, very close, guys. So again, you should be all proud of yourselves. But the People's Choice goes to Green Mean Machine. Congratulations, guys. Well, now, to all of the teams, I'm sure you guys are going to be hugely successful. It doesn't matter if you didn't take it tonight or if you did as well. You're all winners. You're all thinking about the right problems at the right time. You're in the right place at the right time, thinking about the right things. You can all make a difference. And I personally look forward to working with you guys. So once you get up and running, if there's any wastage in your just give us a call, okay? We'll go and pick it up and we'll make sure that we deliver it. It is hugely important that we all work together. So we usually say that to change these large complex issues that we are seeing, we need policy interventions. We need these programs such as food relief and food rescue. We need extensive education, engaging, doing things like this, that we are educating and engaging and doing all of these things and inspiring. But most of all, we need collaboration. We all need to be working together. So now you know each other, you know the ideas. work together. I can't fix the problems by myself. OzHarvest can't fix the problems by ourselves. The government can't fix the problems by themselves. These problems are daunting. They are large. They are societal problems, and it requires all of us working together. So use this night to just work. You know, it's a networking event. It's a very special event. Get together, share ideas, talk about these things, and work together towards it. And I know as a fact that if we all work together, we can get there. So well done, guys. Really well done. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bernardo, and congratulations again to all of the teams. Once again, thank you so much to the judges, to the mentors, to the speakers, to the industry partners, and to the students, everybody who made this challenge such an incredible and meaningful experience. To the team who worked so hard to put together tonight's event, thank you so much. And all the audience members are encouraged to provide meaningful feedback so that we can provide even more meaningful and helpful events in the future. I'd now like to invite everybody to join me on level 3 foyer for some networking, some canapes, and some drinks, and to enjoy the rest of your nights. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you.